morning. I am Belin Dausamol. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this historic event of Dalit Film Festival organized here by US Ambedkarites and Columbia University and tomorrow with New York School. Thank you. On behalf of all the organizers, I welcome you to this event. And over the next 2 days, we have a lot of exciting and a lot of thrilling items lined up for you. We have movies, we have documentaries, we have panel discussions, and all these are centered around the Dalit reality as shown through the lens of our Dalit cinema makers. And we are also honored that many of these renowned, prominent Dalit filmmakers are going to be present with us during this festival and taking part in the panel discussions also. So we really think that the next 2 days we all will have a great time here with the Dalit cinema. Having said that, AIM is one of the major sponsors of this event, and I think about our founder president, late Mr. Raju Kamble, with very nostalgic fondness, because these are the kind of events that he used to organize and he used to take care of. And today we definitely would like to dedicate this to his memory and his inspiration for making this happen.
So you are in New York.
Please refer to the program sheet that will be handed out to you. If not, it's already done, or you can go on our website www.dalitfilmfest.com/schedule and you will get the program sheet for both the days, just to give you an idea about what items are lined up. As far as today's day goes, we'll continue with the Dalit Film Fest, movies, documentaries, panel discussion, and in the evening at 8 o'clock in New Jersey at Royal Albert's Palace, we have a gala dinner, and we again welcome all of you to attend that. We are arranged for transportation also to and fro for those of you who might be challenged to come to New Jersey. So please do attend that. It will be more of an informal session of interaction with the movie makers and with our celebrities. With that, we are already delayed because of some unavoidable reason. I would like to mention one more thing. Anupama Rao from Columbia University was supposed to be here welcoming all of you on behalf of Columbia University, but because of some unavoidable circumstances, she could not attend. So on her behalf, I would welcome you all on behalf of Columbia University also. With that, let us move on with the first movie that we are showing, Periyaram Perumal, as produced by our own P. Ranjit. Thank you.
So let's begin with my left. I will give short introductions of our panelists, unless you insist not to do so. I'm going to give. I was just asking. So Jayan Cherian. So Jayan is primarily a poet and also a filmmaker. He's from Kerala. He graduated with honors from the Hunter College. He has BA in film and creative writing and MFA from the City College of New York in filmmaking. His critically acclaimed feature film Papilo Buddha in 2013, which we are going to screen tomorrow, won the Kerala State Film Special Jury Award for Best Direction, Kerala Film Critics Association Award for Best Debut Director, and Feature Narrative Award at Athens International Film Plus Video Festival. Jayan's filmography includes Ka, Bodyscapes 2016, Papilo Buddha 2013, Shape of Shapeless documentary 2010, Love in the Time of Foreclosure, short, it's 2009, Hidden Things, it's a short film, Soul of Solomon, Capturing the Signs of God, Holy Mass, Tree of Life, and the list goes on. We also have Nagaraj Manjule in audience. Now, Nagaraj is a filmmaker who makes films and then just goes to Delhi to collect the national award. His Pistulia got a national award. Then his critically acclaimed Fandry, which most of us watched, and tomorrow it's going to be screened, was again a hit. Then he directed Sairat, which all of us have seen, and again, it has created a record. No Marathi film has ever boxed office collection is 100 crore. 100 crore. This is the record of the film. And then, and there we go. His lyrics, he's a poet of a of a very deep philosophical engagement. His poems need to be read through the motion that he is presenting. In addition to that, his Pausa Sanibandh and Essay of the Rain has won 2 national awards at the 65th National Award. Niharika Singh is a veteran of film and entertainment world, 20 years, 2 decades she has spent in that industry. At the age of 23, she went on to become Miss India. She represented India at Miss Universe. Miss World. It is written Miss Earth pageant in 2005. Niharika made her acting debut with the film Miss Lovely, which premiered in uncertain regards at the Cannes Film Festival in 2012, for which she also earned a nomination for the Most Promising Newcomer at the 21st Screen Awards. In 2016, she was the only Indian actor selected for Berlinale Talents. She was last seen in the global horror anthology titled The Field Guide to Evil, which premiered at South by the Southwest 2018. She wrote a long, detailed piece adding a voice to hashtag #MeToo movement in India, in which she boldly and poignantly described her experience as a Dalit woman working in the entertainment industry. A narrative that we have not seen ever. That was the first time that we could see. And then we have Paranjeet. He's a fine arts graduate from government college. He started his career in films working as an assistant director in 4 feature-length films. After his period as an AD assistant director, he wrote and directed his first feature film named Attakati 2012, which was appreciated for its light-heartedness yet genuine portrayal of subaltern culture, a very rare element in the mainstream. The film went on to become a commercial success too. Then it was Madras in 2014, through which he made his presence stronger in the film industry. And after that, we all know is a history. Madras was a high-voltage drama with a strong political contour. The film was praised by critics and audience alike for its emotional appeal and lively portrayal of characters and North Madras landscape, which till then was shown in mainstream as an area of shady criminals and dehumanizing violence. Then he made Kabali in 2016, which starred Rajnikant in the leading role, was a stylish gangster story in Malaysia. It has strong social commentary about subculture and oppressed classes among Tamils in Malaysia. In addition to that, we saw Kala, which was again starred Rajnikant in 2018. Kala was set in Dharavi, Mumbai, one of the largest slums in the world, telling the story of Karri Kalan, who ultimately leads his fellow residents who are being tormented by the greedy corporate builders. Abhi dekha hai. Apart from writing and directing, he's also a very socially committed guy. He has produced documentary Ladies and Gentlewomen, a documentary on lesbian history of Tamil Nadu, Dr. Shoemaker, about a dedicated sport shoemaker, Beware of Caste, on the Mirchpur violence, and all the documentaries that he's produced has the social touch. He also produced a play called Manjal, and he's the founder of the Casteless Collective, an energetic Ghana rap band giving bass to talented artists whose voices weren't heard so powerfully in the mainstream. Kugai, a film movement and a library, and Neelam Cultural Center, a cultural organization also known for the various ventures it takes. He produced Pariyaram Perumal in 2018, which is a huge success at box office. And then we have Professor Jayashree Kamble. She's a second generation activist. Her father has been an active person in the movement. She's a professor here at LaGuardia College teaching English. She has a PhD from University of Minnesota. Welcome to all panelists. So let me begin with you, Jayan. You come from Malayalam. And we have seen P.K. Rossi, for example, in 1929. And then we haven't seen anyone. And Malayalam and this whole discourse of a communist regime that presents itself as progressive, and they don't want you to talk about caste, they say you will create a fraction among the class unity. And then you are someone who is not only making Papilo Buddha about this assertion of Dalits, who are not only rejecting communism and this Gandhiism, but also embracing Buddhism, following this radical Ambedkarite tradition. And you don't stop there. You make a movie on gay. So your entry into the cinema world is, of course, has so many controversial statements that you are trying to do. What are you trying to do?
Thank you. I'm coming from Kerala. Each situations in each state of India, the caste oppression and its various manifestations are different in a way. Kerala, we brag ourselves as a progressive society, and we often brag we are the communist people who elect communist government first through ballot, and that claim is not real, but we living a life projecting as progressive. At the same time, we religiously practicing caste in our daily life and pretend as progressive. And in Kerala, the caste is not limited to Hindu religion. Muslims and Christians. Christians are one of the major vehicles of Brahminical values in Kerala. The recent honor killing was happened in Kottayam, one of the 100% literacy district in Kerala. Kevin, a Dalit convert to Christian, fall in love with a Syrian Christian girl and brutally killed with the help of local police. And the people are in power and people even belongs to progressive parties, including communist parties, take physically part in the killing. It was recent. And when I am sitting down here, a venue which is named after P.K. Rossi, in 1929, the first Malayalam movie, first talkie movie, Vigada Gumaran, Rossi was casted because no females ready to act that time. And a folk drama culture among the Dalits was very popular with this Kakarishi Natakam in Malayalam. Only Dalit people, females, allowed to act, not allowed, that is part of their profession. And J.C. Daniel, the filmmaker, hired this Dalit woman to act as an upper caste character in the film. And after the release of the film, she cannot even live in Kerala. She was exiled, practically. She ran away from Kerala with her life. And she lived in an obscure life in Tamil Nadu and just vanished from the history. Recently, we start to talk about her. The academicians, especially the Dalit academicians, dig down and bring her back. Actually, and in Kerala, Malayalam films, the caste was never problematized in the screen, but caste was always behind the screen. The inception of Malayalam cinema come with this caste atrocity committed against a Dalit female by the so-called cultural revolutionaries and forward liberal thinking Malayali people. And this double life being going on and on and on. And you can see that the huge silence of Dalit presence in Malayalam film. Even they discuss about caste, they cast upper caste people acting as Dalit characters in the films. Like in Hollywood, the black faces, the same. It was recently, still it is going on. And after this long gap in 2012, in Papilia Buddha, Kallan Pukudan, one of the pioneer Dalit leaders, acted as himself in our movie. Unfortunately, he is not no more with us. And while he was 72-year-old, he was acting in the film. And this is the Malayalam cinema deal with the caste. But recently, things changed. A lot of new voices coming and expressing themselves. And now the mainstream the directors they're a little bit hesitant to cast a non-Dalit actor for Dalit character. You know, Mohanlal, one exemplary, predominant white male Malayali actor, acted as an Adivasi in one of the film, which was adaptation of a book titled that is Africans in Kerala. And the Africans of Kerala, which was by this the Adivasi character was acted by Mohanlal. It's like a really ridiculing the sense of logic, and at the same time, this the voice is getting back to going back to the auteurs of Dalit, actors of Dalit, which is a movement just started, but we have miles to go, really.
So Jain has made an important point. Imagine a white actor parading himself as a black actor. It will be a huge civil rights issue in America, whereas in India, you can be anyone from any caste and still parade yourself as Adivasi or Dalit actor without accounting to the whole kind of discourse politics that you are all acting within the identity discourse. Now, Nagaraj ji, when I saw Par, Nasruddin Shah, and I saw this scene where at the end, the climax ends with the pigs, they have to rear and they have to cross them across the stream. And wo Par film mein, I thought that was the statement of a cinema. I went all across, and whenever I gave talks or whenever who asked about movie, I gave the reference of Par, until I saw Fandry. Fandry actually places the camera on how you are looking at a pig, or if a pig is looking at you. That's how deep and central you can get. इतना आप अंदर जा सकते हैं. और दलित जो कैटेगरी है, ये केवल महाराष्ट्र, तमिल, मलयालम, इंडिया, साउथ एशिया, बल्कि ये यूनिवर्सल कैटेगरी है. We have the whole representation. तो आप जब दलित फिल्म को देखते हैं, और आप जैसे सुबह कह रहे थे कि ये एक ह्यूमैनिटी की भाषा है, अगर ये ह्यूमैनिटी हमको बयां करनी है, तो आपको क्या लगता है कि किस तरह की फिल्में नॉन दलित्स बनाएंगे तो उनकी ह्यूमैनिटी, जो दलित सेंसिबिलिटी है, दिख पाएगी, अपार्ट फ्रॉम दलित फिल्म मेकर्स?
Sure. So I think what Suraj asked was, so he talked a little bit about a film called Par, which has a scene that he found very profound. Do you want to?
Yeah, basically the question was, Par was a movie which kind of described the life of the people who were given the responsibility of working with the pigs, and that was one of the statement I found was profound. But when I saw Fandry, it actually got very deeper, and if you see Fandry, you will realize how the importance of life of people who are considered as the impure, untouchable, or the Dalits. So this is the very close kind of a system. He got closer to that. So I'm asking him the question, like, how do non-Dalits, if they have to make films about it, how do they make it and not be insensible towards this?
मुझे लगता है कि सेंसिबल बनना एक अलग बात है और दलित पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से फिल्म बनाना एक अलग बात है. सेंसिबल तो हो सकते हैं आप, लेकिन कितना सहानुभाव जिसे कहते हैं हम दलितों के प्रति, स्त्रियों के प्रति हो सकता है. और कभी कभी मुझे लगता है कि ना, जब तक स्त्री की बात स्त्री नहीं कहेगी तब तक वो अच्छी तरह रखी नहीं जा सकती, आप कितना भी कोशिश कर लो. तो मुझे ज़रूर ये लगता है कि मतलब दलित हो, स्त्रियां हैं, तो उन्होंने खुद फिल्म बनाना चाहिए. तब तक ये मतलब जैसे अभी मैं तो हरदम कहता हूँ, अभी काला में भी यही सब्जेक्ट था कि रावण को आप विलन नहीं ठहराओगे जब तक आप राम के नज़रिए से लिखोगे, जब तक आप दूसरे नज़रिए से नहीं देखोगे. मेरी कहानी में आप विलन होगे, आपकी कहानी में मैं शायद विलन हो सकता हूँ. तो दोनों ने लिखना चाहिए और समझना चाहिए. और ज़्यादा है कि मैं बोल दूँगा, मतलब ज़्यादा बड़ी बात नहीं है थोड़ी. और सबसे ज़रूरी बात है कि अल्टीमेटली इक्वलिटी की बात करना चाहिए दोनों ने भी, तो फिर अपने आप अच्छी फिल्में बन सकती हैं.
There is a limit to how much one group or one kind of person can actually identify with another group. So one can have empathy, so certainly people can make films trying to be empathetic to the lives of the marginalized, but you actually have to be the marginalized to tell the story from that perspective. And as you see in Kala just now, if you're always viewing things from the perspective of Ram, Ravan is always going to be the villain. And so, in reverse, if you are the one speaking from the perspective of Ravan, Ram might become the villain in that story. So what's important is for all groups of people to try to see the perspectives and perhaps work together so that maybe the story gets better, because it's a story of humanism.
Niharika, you scaled to heights where we would not even imagine that a Dalit woman who is a beauty queen, and because usually what we see when we Google Dalit woman is a rape, she is being burnt, she is being hacked to death, or she's humiliated day in and day out. We have Anita, and we have various incidents that we are fighting, Sureka Bhotmange, Khairlanji, and onwards. And then you come, and then you are a beauty queen who should talk about beauty products, who should talk about oil products and sell to the world by hiding what remains lays to the reality. And you come and tell to the world, yes, I'm a beauty queen, but I'm also a woman. And I'm a Dalit woman. And this is where my intersection lies. Now, you have been in this industry, which is dynasty. Now, dynasty is basically appropriating and for the status quo of the caste to remain. How do you look at this as a Dalit woman being in the industry?
Okay, so I have. Can you? Okay. So I have to say that when I started working, I was very young. I started working at the age of 17. When I started working, I had never seen a model or an actor in my entire life. I hadn't even watched films. So that wasn't, it wasn't cinema or my, my closeness to any kind of like the media industry or the entertainment industry that made me want to do this work. It was just survival. I have to be very honest here. And it was actually an escape route. So, I wasn't even, I did not identify myself as anything, like feminist, Dalit, or whatever. I just wanted to work and I wanted to be independent. So I think when I started working, I just cared about survival and I cared about working. And I had to make choices within the parameters that I was given. So I didn't grow up in a city like Bombay where there were avenues. I spent my childhood in various small towns and hill stations. And I went to an all-girls boarding school. So again, there being fair or being pretty was not really like valued. It was your personality, how confident you were, how you could deal with various situations. If you went to your teachers to complain, then you weren't cool. If you were only scoring great marks, then also you were kind of like nerdy. But if you had like an all-round personality and you could deal with like various situations, that was the girl that was celebrated. So now we have all these Steiner style education, Walsdorf style education, but my school was kind of like that. So I grew up believing that I could do whatever I wanted to do because, one, I did not grow up with my family. My family was not truly instrumental in shaping who I was. I wanted to escape them because there was a lot of violence and incest that I saw when I was growing up, and I did not want to be a part of that. And I did not see enough. I saw very beautiful, strong women, but I saw a lot of male oppression and also societal oppression within the home and also outside. So I think my journey began with me wanting to escape something which I didn't understand as a young woman, and I just worked. I just wanted to work. I was driven with like blinders on. I wanted to learn. I wanted to get better in whatever my limited understanding of what better was at that time. So I do even now. The only thing that interests me is my own personal growth. I don't care about anything else, and my growth is not just economic or, I don't own anything. I'm quite poor, so I just look rich. And because I'm a model, I get dressed by designers. They take their clothes back, But I have to say that my journey's been a lot about my own growth. So I never thought of myself as, oh, I'm lesser than somebody or somebody's bigger or, nothing. I was just like, I don't want to be broken. I don't want to be oppressed. I don't want to be... Now I know as an adult, because I started seeking, things, you know, because I wanted to learn, I wanted to study, and while I'm studying, I'm suddenly like, this is not my story. Obviously, as a young woman, I started reading, whatever was in the mainstream. So the literature was mostly like Eurocentric or American literature, or even like Hindu Savarna writing, which I didn't understand at that time. So I read it. So yes, there were things that I took. I learned, but there were also things that I didn't relate to. So there were lots of, and because I also stayed away from my family a lot, there was just some new identity being formed. It was very bizarre. My experiences mostly are not of what, of most Dalit women would be. They are kind of weird and, strange and convoluted, but interesting in its own way. I'm very happy I've had this life, and there have been lots of ups and downs. But what I'm trying to say here is that I did not, as a young woman, I thought it was okay. Like, come on, it's a Miss India contest. I can go. You can go. I can go. We all can go, right? I mean, I've been getting jobs when I was young. I was getting all these jobs in advertising, and I was on covers. My second job was when I was on a magazine cover when I was 17 years old. So I thought I was okay, Oh, I can be on a magazine cover. Oh, I can be in an ad. I can do a music video. Well, I can go for Miss India. So I was doing whatever I thought was available at that time, and they're paying me, so I'm getting independent, and I don't have to depend on anybody for money, and I can work, I can I can help my family, I can take care of my sister, pay for her education or whatever. So I did lose out on a lot of my childhood years, and I just wanted to work and be independent. So I think that's what happened. And gradually, obviously, with life experiences and all, and I realized I didn't have to, but unfortunately, Brahminical society failed me. I could have continued with my ignorance, and I could have continued feeling we all are equal, and I can do anything in my life, and I still can. Actually, that's not the problem. It's just that Brahminical society makes it very difficult. Patriarchy makes it difficult. Caste makes it very difficult. But I still feel I can do whatever the hell I want to do. If that answers your question.
Excellent. Now, just to kind of segue that, and maybe Ranjit's experience is slightly different, the way he was brought up, right, in the way. And people have been talking about your cinema and mainstream. I don't think there is anything mainstream in India. What you guys have done is the mainstream. It has established a new genre, and people have to follow it. So we don't believe in the peripheral kind of identities. We have always been mainstream, and we've been running the industry. Now, one of the things is, you're a proud Ambedkarite filmmaker. You own up your identity. You're not ashamed of your ancestors. You are very proud of the sacrifices they have done, and you love your people. We can see in the kind of craft you make. Now, in Pariyaram Perumal, when the protagonist is going to law college, and I'll just tell my story. Like, when I went to law college, I had options to go to other courses. But I went to law college because Ambedkar was an inspiration. Ambedkar was not a science or engineering major. And that was reflected in that film. So I could immediately relate that this is my story. So far, I always have difficulties finding vegetarian food and me in that scene. It just doesn't fit. We are pure beef eaters. And that is our cuisine. So what you did is to do that, and so there is a fear among many filmmakers, and as well as personalities in the entertainment industry who are afraid to come out. And here you go, Madras, Kabali, Kala, producing Pariyaram Perumal, and now Birsa Munda. So why are you doing this? Aren't you afraid that this industry will eat you raw?
Okay, it's a nice question. I'm going to speak Tamil. Someone has helped me. Okay. Okay. யார் நல்லா பண்றீங்களோ அவங்க ஓகே ரெடி. எனக்கு பயம் ஆக்சுவலி சின்ன வயசுல இருந்து பயம்ன்றது இல்லை, ஆனால் ஒரு பதட்டம் இருந்துகிட்டே இருந்தது. ஆக்சுவலி அந்த பதட்டம் இங்கே நமக்கு முன்னாடி ஒரு மாடல் இல்லை, இதெல்லாம் வந்து அந்த மாடல் இல்லாமல் ஃபாலோ பண்ணுறது வந்து எனக்கு ஒரு பெரிய பிரச்சனையாக இருந்தது. ஆனால் நான் என்னுடைய லைஃப்பை பயங்கர என்ஜாய் பண்ணேன். என் லைஃப் எனக்கு ஒரு மிகப்பெரிய லெசன் ஆக்சுவலி.
In Tamil industry, he wasn't afraid, but he wasn't unsure how to address it actually.
There was no fear, but I had anxiety.
That's why Yara.
There was no fear, but I had
I want
anxiety
better translator.
because I do not have any role models in my career, but I do enjoy my life and I thoroughly enjoy my lived experiences. Okay.
Great.
Okay, Shiva, நீங்க வாங்க.
I just wanted to convey that idea. Yeah.
The same exact experience.
No, the problem is continuously I have met it. அதனால வந்து நீங்க வந்துருங்க.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try to do justice. Let's see how.
At Harvard, about a week ago, we had 4 translators for Ranjit. 1 here and 3 there. Continue.
Okay.
Yes.
Listen. Okay, I continue. Ready. ஓகே, நான் வந்து பயப்படல, ஆனால் பதட்டம் இருந்தது. என்ன காரணம்னா, எனக்கு முன்னாடி எந்த மாடலும் இல்லை, யாரும் க்ரியேட் பண்ணல. எனக்கு என்னென்னா, நான் வந்து 2 லைஃப் வாழ்ந்துருக்கிறேன். ஒன்று வந்து ஒரு ரொம்ப டிஸ்கிரிமினேஷன் லைஃப் தான் அது வந்து என்னுடைய பர்த் பிளேஸு. இன்னொன்று வந்து நான் செலிப்ரேட்டட் லைஃப் ஒன்று வாழ்ந்தேன். அது வந்து என்னென்னா என்னுடைய பாட்டி ஊர் வெங்கல். ஒரு தலித் வந்து ஒரு 2 லைஃப் வாழறப்போ கிடைக்கிற அந்த விஷயம் வந்து ரொம்ப முக்கியமானதாக இருந்தது என்னுடைய பர்சனல் லைஃப்பில்.
I need to be very careful now. So I do not have any fear, but I do have anxiety because I do not have any positive role models in the industry. And I had 2 life. One is very discriminated, oppressed life where I grew up with my parents, and I had other celebrated life with my grannies.
ஓகே, அப்படி இருக்கிறப்போ நான் வந்து ஃபிலிம்ஸ் பார்க்குறப்போ படம் என்னை வந்து கவர்ந்துச்சான்னு ஒரு கேள்வி இருந்தது. அதோடு நான் படித்த நாவல்ஸு, குறிப்பாக வந்து டிரான்ஸ்லேட் இது மராட்டியன் நாவல் கூட எக்கச்சக்கமாக நான் படித்தேன் நான். ஆனால் எல்லாமே வந்து என்னென்னா தலித் லைஃப்பை ரொம்ப பாவர்ட்டியாக, ரொம்ப பிட்டியாக, ஒரு கல்ச்சுரல் லெஸ்ஸாக காட்டினது வந்து எனக்கு ஒரு பெரிய கோவம் வந்தது. ஈவன் சினிமாக்களில் கூட ஒரு மெயின் கேரக்டர்ஸ் இல்லை வந்து சைட் கேரக்டர், காமெடியன், இவங்க எல்லாருமே ரொம்ப மோசமாக காட்டினது வந்து அதில் நான் இல்லைன்னு எனக்கு ஒரு கோவம் வந்தது. ஏன்னா ஏன் என்னுடைய பவர்ட்டி மட்டுமே வந்து இவங்களுக்கு வந்து பிடிச்சிருக்கு, ஏன்னா ஏன் அவங்க ஹீரோவாக காட்டல அப்படின்ற ஒரு கோவம் எனக்கு வந்து இயல்பாக வந்தது ஆக்சுவலி.
So I was start reading a lot of novels in irrespective of languages, multiple translated novels, but I had anger that but my life is not reflected in it. Most of the time it's portrayed in a poverty and oppressed and much more sympathized way. So that was the anger I had.
And cinema also.
Yeah, in cinemas too.
அதனால் வந்து எனக்கு முன்னாடி பண்ணவங்க எல்லாமே வந்து தலித் லைஃப் வந்து காட்டுறப்போ வந்து கல்ச்சுரல் லெஸ்ஸாக காட்டினாங்க. அப்புறம் வந்து ஒரு ஓகே, தலித் லைஃப்பை வந்து சரியாக போர்ட்ரேட் பண்ணல, ஒரு பெரிய பிரச்சனையாக இருந்தது. அப்போ என்னுடைய லைஃப் அங்கே இல்லைன்றதுக்காக நான் என்னுடைய சொந்த லைஃப்பை எழுதுறதுக்கு நான் ட்ரை பண்ணேன். ஆனால் அதுக்கு முன்னாடி பெரிய மாடல் இல்லை அங்கே. இப்போ பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அம்பேத்கரை வந்து அவங்க எல்லாருமே எங்கே வச்சாங்கன்னா போலீஸ் ஸ்டேஷன்லேயும் இல்லை வந்து கோர்ட்லேயும் தான் வச்சாங்க. ஆனால் அம்பேத்கர் என்னுடைய வீட்டில் இருந்தார். நான் அதை வந்து போர்ட்ரேட் பண்ணணும்னு நான் நினச்சேன் நான் ஆக்சுவலி.
So when I do not have any models and I do see a very oppressed and poverty has been portrayed, and my life is not reflected, but I wanted to project my life in the cinemas, and I do see Ambedkar was on the police station and court. Ambedkar's picture was on the court and police station, but in reality I do have Ambedkar pictures at my home, but I wanted to project that in the cinemas. That's what I did.
அப்படி ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுறப்போ நிச்சயமாக ப்ராப்ளம் இருந்தது. நான் ஸ்ட்ரகிள் அட்டன் பண்ணேன். ஆனால் ஐ ஜஸ்ட் வாண்ட் மேக் அ டிஸ்கஷன் மெயின் ஸ்ட்ரீம் சினிமா. ஐ டோன்ட் வாண்ட் டு கோ டிஸ்கஸ் separated like artistic cinema.
When is, yeah.
No, no.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You can speak in English.
No, no, no,
That's
no.
good.
Sometimes I'm good.
No, like wherever it's required, like I can translate it. Yeah. Wherever it's required, I'll translate it. Other than that, you go ahead in English.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Yep.
See, I'm stuck now. No, let me finish. Okay. See, I don't have any model. That's why I just want to make a model. Okay, that's why I just want to put a Ambedkar image in my movies in a heroic material. Not like only police station, not like only court. Okay, I just want to put an image in my home. And also, I just want to make a commercial movie. I don't want. I love artistic movie. I just came from college, fine arts college. Okay, I'm really artistic person. I really loved artistic novels and artistic. I'm really artistic person, but I don't want right now. I just want to make a make a discussion with a common man. Cinema is a big it's a big mass medium. People were connected. If in a single person easily connected the medium, no, that's why I want to influence a big medium. Okay, that's why I just go with big stars. It will make a big sense, no? That's it.
Just last weekend, so there is a production house called PEN, and the PEN's chairman and managing director and few of us were at the gala, and so him and we came to Ranjit, and then Ranjit introduced, and then he said, okay, let's make movies. And Ranjit was very specific. He said, let's make movies, sir, but I only make movies with social bent. He was very particular to tell to the production house that the movies I'm going to make will have a social angle to it and social element to it. And I think this is the kind of statement he's doing. And just to add to that, I think in the Kala also, like for example, Ganga talked about his father who was an organizer in Dharavi. And that story of a Tamilian, we only hear in the stereotype, is the way you presented with a strong juncture. So we appreciate you for that craft. Now, Jayashri, we are this audience. You are an English professor, a Dalit. This guy is a filmmaker, a Tamilian. She speaks a North Indian Hindi English. And this guy is Marathi. And Jen, of course, is from Malayalam. So this is this galaxy and diversity of Dalits. They speak differently, but their vision is one. Their upbringing is similar, and they have this common affinity. Now, as English professor, you sit in class, you're teaching at La Guardia, apparently working class people coming to this, and then you see the DALIFF. You're also one of the co-organizers of this festival. How do you relate to the experiences of America when it comes to the students from various racial as well as ethnic backgrounds and linguistic kind of class, as well as playing the role, and the kind of DALIFF that is happening here?
So as Nagraj said earlier, these are stories of all of us. And especially when you look through the lens of intersectionality, you understand that people have experienced oppressions along different axes. So I see the potential for Dalit cinema in classrooms like mine. When my students come in, they have experienced different kinds of discrimination. They have experienced different kinds of deprivation. And they're also extraordinarily creative and resilient. And I think our cinema can really speak to that. When, if you noticed when we were watching Kala, he highlighted the work of so many of the hip-hop Dalit artists that are from Dharavi and that are now entering the quote-unquote mainstream, shall we say, of Indian cinema. But you know, those are sort of the threads of connection that I think my students would deeply identify with, right? Because hip hop, again, of course, as we all know, is the language and the voice of the oppressed, fighting back and retrieving their culture. So I certainly think that there are ways in which students, both American and international students, I have both in my classrooms, and I have students who are from all classes. I have students who come from, I think our president likes to say, 180 countries. at LaGuardia, many of them are immigrants, many of them are undocumented, many of them have suffered violence for being queer. Many of them, are homeless and experience food insecurity. And so there is very clearly, I think, a way to have a conversation that, as you yourself has put it, Suraj, like to create maybe a fourth world project, right? To sort of connect us across all sorts of different barriers and to sort of show that there are ways in which we live our lives that have power, that have dignity, that have resilience, and that we will speak our oppression, but not to grieve, but to claim our dignity and our identity, right? So I think absolutely there is ways for which the cinema will be useful. Yeah.
So now, we have 15 minutes, and questions will only be entertained. If you have comments, if you have life experiences, we'll have a time for gala. Please sign up for that. But only stick to questions. And if you're not asking questions, unfortunately, I'll have to be the moderator at large. I will be rude. So let's go from here. Yes, very briefly.
Sairat on the issue of honor killing. Then when it is remade in Hindi, just kind of killing the original Sairat, how do you take it? Because as a fan, I couldn't take it.
सैराट मेरा एक्सप्रेशन है, सैराट मेरी फिल्म है, बाकी उस पर क्या कौन करेगा, कोई सैराट देख के नाचेगा तो वो मेरी जिम्मेदारी नहीं है, तो मैं सैराट के बारे में ही सिर्फ बोलूँगा.
So Sairat is my film, it's my expression, and what anybody else does with it is their problem. I can only speak to the film. Or strength, yes. And so I can only speak to Sairat itself, not what others have done with it.
Yes, you first. So I've noticed that sometimes bad guys in the films are bad guys, and sometimes they're caught up in the structure. And I wonder why people make choices of choosing to make bad guys or make them an institutional representation. Who are you addressing the question to? I mean, I don't know. Whoever. Okay. तुम्हारा उठा. Yeah, you can.
मैं जितना मतलब समझा हूँ कि वो कह रहे हैं कि मतलब बुरे को बुरा क्यों दिखा रहे हैं, और तो मेरी दिक्कत ये है कि बुरे को बुरा दिखाए अच्छी बात है, लेकिन हर बुरे को दलित दिखाए, हर बुरे को काला दिखाए, ये इससे मुझे प्रॉब्लम है.
Translate that.
और मतलब सारे दुनिया भर के सारे नॉवल में, महाकाव्यों में यही है कि जो काला है, कुरूप है, वो विलन है, और जो गोरा है, सुनहरे बालों वाला है, ज़रा सा नहीं क्या नाजुक सा है, वो अच्छा है. तो इससे प्रॉब्लम है. बुरा है तो बुरा दिखेगा, जो बुरा करेगा काम तो वो बुरा दिखेगा. तो लेकिन हमारा ये प्रतिमाओं में ही नहीं है. अगर जैसे कि मेरे जैसा इंसान दिखे तो इम्प्रेशन ये बन जाता है कि अच्छा इससे डरना है, और एक गोरा आदमी चाकू लेके बॉम्ब लेके भी आएगा अंदर तो उसको आने देते हैं लोग.
So if someone does bad things, it's fine to cast him as the villain. My problem is when the villain always seems to be Dalit, when the villain always seems to be black, when the villain always seems to be ugly. So if you look at someone like me, you're going to assume that I'm going to be the one who's going to cause you harm. And if you're white and have blonde hair, you might come with explosives and somehow you're still touted as the hero. So.
Question.
This is for Ranjit. Ranjit, before 2 weeks, I met Mari Selvaraj. I asked this question. If Ranjit would not finance for the production of that movie, I asked how you are going to do that. Then he said, it is not possible for me to produce that film without help of Ranjit. So in that case, the survival question in film industry is very big for the Dalits. So in that case, next film is a big question for you because somebody has to finance. The Dalit film is always focused, not entertainment. It is a social challenge. We are challenging a system. Already, our sister frequently pointed out. In that case, it is for all of us. Do we evolve how we can, address the finance of, next film? So that's my question.
Do you want to take it, or do you want to answer now, or do you want to?
No, first, we are an entertainer. Definitely, people will love our life, I think. That's why I don't have any fear. And also financial, I met some problems, but I don't care about. I get a good reception per year in Perumal, and reback money, my money also. Doesn't matter, I think. I have a passion, definitely it will works. And people also supporting me in a good movie like this kind of movie, no? That's why it works. I create some model. Before, there is no any model. That's a big problem. Okay, that's it.
Yes, we want to have a female. I think all see is males raising hands. So if you have more females, I would like to give them opportunity.
கொஸ்டின் எஸ் பாரஞ்சித் உங்களுக்கு அந்த கொஸ்டின் தமிழே கேட்குறேன். ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம் உங்களை பார்க்குது, அழுகே வருது எனக்கு. காலால் வந்து உங்களுடைய கரியரில் உச்சக்கட்டத்தை நீங்கள் அடைஞ்சிட்டீங்க. இங்கிலீஷில் சொல்லுவாங்க இட்ஸ் டவுன் ஹில் ஃப்ரம் நோவான்னு சொல்லிட்டு. ஸோ உங்களுடைய அடுத்த பெரிய ப்ராஜெக்ட் என்னன்னு நீங்கள் யோசிச்சிருக்கீங்க? வாட் இஸ் த லெவல் ஆஃப் இம்பேக்ட் யூஆர் எக்ஸ்பெக்டிங் அதில் இருந்து? ஸோ அடுத்த பெரிய பின்னக்கல் என்ன உங்களுக்கு அப்படின்னு சொல்லி கொஸ்டின் அவங்களுக்கு. ஓகே ஸோ ஹீஸ் ரீச் த பின்னக்கல் ஆஃப் ஹிஸ் of his glory and his career, even in the social message in itself. So I'm asking him, in English we say it's kind of like downhill from here, but what's your next pinnacle? What's your next great, social project?
I have a next commitment with Bollywood. I signed one project in Bollywood, like writing going on, based on Magasweta Devi novel, Pisamunda. அந்த படம் வந்து இப்போ நான் பொதுவாக வந்து ஃபிலிம்ஸை வந்து இதுதான் என்னோட அச்சீவ்மெண்ட் இல்லை இதுதான் என்னோட ட்ரீம் அப்படின்னு நான் எதுவுமே யோசிக்கிறதே இல்லை. ஐ டோன்ட் ஹாவ் எனி ட்ரீம். ஐ ஜஸ்ட் வாண்ட் பி லைக் ஹியூமன் நான் ஆல்வேஸ். ஏன்னா அம்பேத்கருடைய மனித நேயத்தை, அவருடைய கருத்து தான் எனக்கு எப்பவுமே வந்து இருக்கு. மனித நேயத்தை மீட்டெடுப்பதற்கான ஒரு வாரில் ஒரு சின்ன பங்களிப்பு தான் என்னுடைய மூவின்னு நான் நினைக்கிறேன். டெஃபினட்டாக நம்மளுடைய அந்த மனித நேயம் மீட்டெடுக்கிற அந்த போர் எவ்வளோ காலம் இருக்குதோ அவ்வளோ காலம் நான் படையெடுக்கணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். That's it.
Quick. And then you have to ask question.
Just in the battle of reclaiming the human dignity, reclamation of human dignity is the as long as is that battle is there, I'll be like making the efforts to do it.
Beautiful answer. Yeah, you ask question, I'm going there. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So my question is, do you have a future plan or future project to have a footprint in the Hollywood industry?
Definitely I will. If I get a chance, definitely I will.
Hollywood मध्ये काय plan आहे का असा विचार?
Yeah, definitely. If I get a chance, I will do.
Beautiful.
Ranjit, how come in Tamil Nadu you are doing the great this one, but not other industry like Telugu, Hindi, they are not there to come like you? What is the reason? Why? How come?
I am pure Ambedkarist, I think.
No, there are a lot of people Ambedkarites, but they are unable to, they are crushing down, they are not coming.
No, I'll see the பெரியாரும் இருக்காரு, பெரியாரும் நான் சொல்லல. ஆனால் see, answer is like this only. Yeah,
I think I want to add
really
something
empowered.
here. I think, Tamil Nadu is definitely more empowered because you had that history of Periyar and Dr. Ambedkar and even Maharashtra, I feel, that's why we have these two voices. Yeah. It's true, they're more politicized, they're more empowered, even like women are relatively more empowered. So there is definitely a stronger political understanding in both these states. That's why you have voices like, Paranjit and Agraj Manjule coming from these states and able to make films, getting funding, able to write stories, interest, distribution. Like nobody is like really making it that difficult for them because they are coming from these spaces that are kind of empowered. Bollywood or what we call Bombay film industry industry. I mean, I don't know what Bollywood is, but there, like Mr. Yengre said, it's dynastic. So if you've like come there, say pre-partition or whatever, and placed yourself there, your 5 generations will be getting everything. So and everything will be super simplistic, and that continues. So you could come from wherever and just place yourself, and then only your family is going to get everything. So that's what happens. And unfortunately, the eyes are all on this Hindi film. Most eyes are on, a lot of eyes and money and everything is in the Hindi film industry, in the Bombay film industry. That's why even somebody like Nagraj Manjare, who is, according to me, is an extremely sophisticated filmmaker, has to now come and work with Amitabh Bachchan in Hindi, which for me, I think, I mean, not very impressive, because Nagraj Manjare is a far greater talent than anything Amitabh Bachchan has ever done in his career. I mean, that's my perspective. or same thing with Mr. Ranjit. I mean, he's an extremely new. I mean, look at him. Look at his identity. Look what he's able to do with the castless collective and so much, you know. And he has to work with the Rajnikant. I mean, not to diminish their career paths or whatever, but definitely, if there was ever to be a comparison, I mean, in sophistication and of understanding of Indian politics or anything else, there is no match. You know, and I don't think Hindi film industry is ready for that.
नहीं, मुझे मतलब अलग कहना है कि ये मतलब ऐसा है कि मान लो रंजित कर पाया या मैं कर पाया नहीं, या जयंत कर पाए, हम सब जो भी कर पाए, ये शायद ये इस दौरान और इस दौर की भी बात है कि स्टेट प्रोग्रेस था इसलिए किया, और अंबेडकर महाराष्ट्र से थे तो मैं किया। ये मुझे शायद ये थोड़ा सा क्या कहें, संकुचित सा उत्तर है, जवाब है। और दूसरी बात जो निहारिका ने कहा, हाँ नहीं आपका ही है, लेकिन मैं कहता हूँ कि ये बहुत बड़ी बात है कि रजनीकांत अगर काला में है तो रंजित की बात जब बहुत ज़्यादा लोग सुनते हैं, तो मैं बहुत शुक्रिया कहना चाहूँगा रजनीकांत जी को कि उन्होंने ये फिल्म किया। वैसे भी हम पहले आप बोलोगे कि अगर दलित सब्जेक्ट है तो लोग करते नहीं है, अगर रजनीकांत कर रहे हैं, इतना बड़ा स्टार बच्चन सर कर रहे हैं, तो ये बहुत बड़ी बात है। और मुझे लगता है कि यही दुनिया है, और मैं हरदम कहता हूँ कि दलित और सवर्ण ऐसा नहीं होगा। लोग अच्छे होते हैं, बुरे लोग बुरे होते हैं, और अच्छे लोग दलितों में भी हैं और बुरे लोग दलितों में भी हैं, अच्छे लोग सवर्णों में भी हैं, बुरे लोग सवर्णों में भी हैं।
वणक्कम Ranjit.
My answer is slightly different. That there are good people and bad people in the dominant caste, and there are good people and bad people in the oppressed communities. And when you have the so-called mainstream celebrities in a film, what happens is that the reach of the cinema is much bigger. And so I want to thank people like Rajnikant for working with Paranjit. I want to thank people like Amitabh for working with me, because their presence means our narrative and our message reaches a much wider audience.
The question in the Ranjit and Tamil than Kekapuran. No, because I'm very comfortable with Tamil. Yeah, if somebody can translate. Yeah, I am Karupi from Toronto. Ranjit in the Kelvi. Ugoda Padamalam is very good, but I have a question. Ugoda mainstream or commercial film la kuda ninga vandu light skin girl athan heroine a poringa. Andha level ku oru dark skin Dalit looking girl vandu heroine a porra level vandu uppangada Tamil film la verapodhu payam vandu naanga North Indian athan nambi irukra oru heroine ku adha இப்ப நீங்க மாத்த போறீங்க.
இல்லை நான் என்ன சொல்கிறேன், சரி என்னுடைய படங்களில் நான் வந்து கலர் ஸ்கின் தான் நான் யூஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். ஐ எம் நாட் யூஸ் டு ஒயிட், க்ளீன் ஒயிட். ஓகே, டஸ்கி லைக் ராதிகா ஆப்தே அண்ட் ஆல்சோ ஈஸ்வரிரா வந்து அவ்வளோ கலர்லாம் கிடையாது. அப்புறம் வந்து என்னுடைய ஃபர்ஸ்ட் மூவி நந்திதா தாஸ் அண்ட் வந்து நந்திதா, அப்புறம் வந்து ஐஸ்வர்யா வந்து நீங்கள் கனா படத்துலாம் நடிச்சிருக்காங்க, அவங்க வந்து கலர் ஸ்கின் தான். அஞ்சலி பாட்டில் லாட் ஆஃப் கேர்ள்ஸ் ஆர் யூஸ்ட். நான் வந்து அந்த இடத்துக்கு போக விரும்பல. ஆனால் இன்னொரு விஷயம் நான் சொல்கிறேன், ஸ்டீரியோ டைப்பிக். எங்கள் அத்தை பேர் வந்து பாப்பாத்தின்னு ஒரு பேர் இருந்தது. ஆக்சுவலி அவங்க வந்து ரொம்ப வெள்ளையாக இருப்பாங்க. நான் இப்போ தலித் உமன் நான் வந்து நான் வந்து கருப்புக்கு அகேன்ஸ்ட் இல்லை. ஆனால் பட் நான் ஐ மேட் ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு ரிவ்யூ வந்து நான் சந்தித்தேன் மெட்ராஸில். ஆஃப்டர் ஐ டிட் மெட்ராஸ் ஐ மேட் ஒன் ரிவ்யூ, ஒய் யூ சூஸ் டு ஒயிட் உமன் இன் ஒரு மூவி, தலித்ஸ் ஆர் நாட் அவங்க வந்து கலர் கிடையாதுல்ல அவங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்னாங்க. நான் வந்து செம காண்டானே ஆக்சுவலி. ஐ ரியலி என்னுடைய பாட்டி வெள்ளையாக இருப்பாங்க. நான் வந்து என்னுடைய பாரு இவங்க தலித் தான் ஆக்சுவலி, ஷீஸ் தலித். நான் என்ன சொல்கிறேன், நான் உங்களுக்கு கருப்புக்கு அகேன்ஸ்ட் ஆனது கிடையாது. ஆனால் ஐ ஜஸ்ட் வாண்ட் டு பிரேக் ஸ்டீரியோடைபிக்காக இருக்கிறத எல்லாத்தையும் பிரேக் பண்ணணும்னு நினச்சேன். சரி, என்னுடைய படங்களில் விமனுக்கு அகேன்ஸ்டாக நான் எதுவும் பேச மாட்டேன். விமனை பயங்கரமாக தூக்கினது. ஏன்னா எங்கள் அம்மா வந்து செம்ம பவர்ஃபுல். மை மாம் இஸ் ரியலி பவர்ஃபுல். நான் வந்து ஐ பிட் worried. I become I have a little white skin. Seriously, I'm not. Whenever I before that mirror, definitely I really hurt myself. Why I not a black like Dravidan? நான் அப்படி நான் நினச்சிருக்கேன். ஆனால் நான் வந்து ஸ்டீரியோடைப்பாக தலித்துனா வந்து கருப்பாக தான் இருக்கணும் அப்படி அந்த மாதிரி விஷயம்லாம் இருக்குதுல்ல. தலித்துனா இப்படி தான் இருக்கணும் இப்படி தான் இருக்கணும்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஐ ஜஸ்ட் வாண்ட் டு பிரேக் ஆல் ஸ்டீரியோடைபிக் இமேஜஸ். தட்ஸ் வை. ஆனால் வந்து டெஃபினட்டாக என்னுடைய படங்களில் நான் கலர்டு வந்து ஒயிட் ஸ்கின்னை வந்து நான் யூஸ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு என்றைக்குமே நான் வந்து மூவ் பண்ணதில்லை. சில காம்ப்ரமைஸ் இருக்குது, அதையும் டெஃபினட்டாக வந்து மீறி வருவோம்னு நான் நினைக்கிறேன்.
Do we need a could someone summarize please question and answer?
सवाल इंग्लिश में ही पूछो, मतलब ये पर्सनल हम बात करते रहेंगे.
Yeah.
तमिल मराठी.
Right.
क्योंकि हमको पता नहीं चल रहा कि ये क्या जरूरी बात कर रहे हैं. इतना ये कह रहे हैं जरूरी बात, हमको समझ में नहीं आ रहा. उनका सवाल अगर समझ में आएगा तो हम थोड़ा ये कर पाएंगे.
All right. So we okay. You want to quickly?
The question is about, I just have one question. It's very important actually. I have some other opinion. She raised the voice like the question is about why you use like light-skinned people, heroines in your movie. The answer I think is pretty. You explain like we don't want to stereotype any particular thing like Dalit should be black or some Dalit should be white or just color like. And I want to tell you like my observation like in South India, most of the caste oppressors are black. As black as me. They are the oppressor. They are the rapists. They are killing the bright-skinned Dalits. So it's completely different perspective now we need to take forward. And like color is not the deal. It's the birth. It's a birth-based,
Right.
caste system there. So I think that's
that's good.
And she's the best example. Why she's
Right.
almost
So-
like as white as whites here.
Okay, cool.
Right?
So we have just 5 minutes.
Sorry, I'm going to take 30 seconds here, sometimes, I mean,
I'm gonna time box.
sorry, I'm going to take 30 seconds because I really want to say something. I'm sorry, I'm just dying to say something here. Yes, in terms of representation, dark skin, fair skinned. In India, it's very different from how it is in the US. US, a white man is white, you can see it.
20 seconds.
Yeah? Okay. A black man is black, you can see it. It's racial or whatever. In India, it doesn't work like that. In India, I feel caste is neither racial nor is it economic. It's actually on the basis of, please let me finish. If any of you people read my piece here, you have to understand, I mean, I was with a guy who came from a working class Muslim family from a rural village in North India, who's dark skinned, short, and today he's a very successful actor. he and he continues to talk about his oppression that he felt, and me being this fair-skinned, kind of whatever, who meets a Savarna ideal of beauty, is seen as somebody who's more empowered. So I think sometimes these black and white, the politics of black skin, white skin in Indian context becomes extremely simplistic. We have to look at caste, we have to look at ideology, and then we have to basically, make these distinctions. Right. That's all.
So we have 5 minutes only. So I'm going to take a round of questions, and I can only take as much. So you please dig in quick, fast. Yeah.
So thank you. So obviously your movies themselves are acts of resistance, but I'm wondering what has been sort of the connection between your movies and on the ground acts of resistance. So for example, has Kala been screened in Dharavi and has motivated, some sort of, or become part of some sort of resistance there? And other examples, any examples of kind of how do these movies become part of movements?
Thank you. Yes, you go ahead, please.
Is the question, why are there not enough women directors in cinema? In Tamil cinema especially?
Okay, we'll take a collective because we'll get a final statement from you. Yes, you go ahead, please.
Hi, this is Vivek, and this question is for Niharika, and it's me here. Yeah, so you are a beauty pageant, and when we are looking the beauty pageant in India, it's seen through the white skin, like a fair skin. And the India is not a fair skin, what is your approach, or how are you benefiting the community at large, who is the majority, is dark skinned? Is there a called dark skin beauty? And if there is one, how you are influencing the Indian community who is backward? And the talent is there.
Okay.
So just the question.
I'm really sorry. I don't understand these skin color tones. So I'm just trying to ask you, is Priyanka Chopra dark skin, fair skin? I'm just trying to understand.
No. So when we are looking at the Indian concept. Yeah.
I just have a simple question I have been grappling with myself. Why is it so hard to accept another human being equal?
Good question. You have question? All right, I think we are.
हम लोगों से नहीं है आपका सवाल, ये पूरे दुनिया से है.
All right, so let's have a final statement from each of the panelists. Jayashree, from you onwards, and to Jain.
In response to the questions, or
you can summarize and you can give your own answer. You don't have to respond to each. You can.
I think what I want to reiterate is that successful art and the possibility of resistance, rebellion, and restructuring society is built on a combination of a few different things. So you need structural support. You need places that will actually deliberately, through policy, try to support all kinds of art. We need the spread of the voices of the people who have fought on our behalf to be taken in all kinds of places. Ambedkar, you mentioned Phule, Periyar. These are the true intellectuals of India who are almost never taught within India or outside of India. If you think about who you think an Indian intellectual is, if you've ever heard those names. So I think for art and for resistance to flourish, we need structures, we need spaces, and we need to have a persistent and devoted interest in retrieving our history and making sure we speak of it in every possible venue. And I really want to thank everyone who's here, because that's what they're contributing to doing. So.
கல்ச்சுரல் ஸ்பேஸ் தான் முக்கியமான ஃபைட்டாக நான் நினைக்கிறேன். ஏன்னா இன் இந்தியா சம் கல்ச்சுரல்ஸ் மட்டும்தான் வந்து பயங்கர சூப்பர்மேசியை வந்து க்ரியேட் பண்ணிட்டுருக்கீங்க. அண்ட் வந்து சாப்பாடு, கலரு, அப்புறம் மொழி, லாங்குவேஜ், லைக் இந்தியன், தமிழ், யூ கேன் கம்பேர். அது மாதிரி நிறைய ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் இருக்குது இந்தியாவில். இந்த ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ்க்கு எல்லாத்துக்கும் பதில் வந்து கல்ச்சுரல் ஸ்பேஸில் வந்து ஒர்க் பண்ணுறது தான். ஈவன் அவங்க யாருமே இது வரைக்கும் அக்செப்ட் பண்ணதே இல்லை தலித் லைஃப்பை. இதுதான் ஒரு பெரிய பிரச்சனையே அங்கே. ஏன்னா இப்போ நீங்கள் தமிழ் எடுத்துக்கிட்டிங்கன்னா தமிழில் வந்து ஒரு ஸ்பெசிஃபிக் கம்யூனிட்டி தான் தமிழனா போர்ட்ரேட் பண்ணுவாங்க. ஹிந்தி எடுத்துக்கிட்டால் ஒரு ஸ்பெசிஃபிக் கம்யூனிட்டி தான் வந்து ஒரு இந்தியனாகவே போர்ட்ரேட் பண்ணுவாங்க. அந்த ப்ராப்ளம் இருக்கிறப்போ வந்து அப்போது என்னுடைய கதையை என்னுடைய மொழியை நான் பேசுகிறதுக்கான ஸ்பேஸை கல்ச்சுரலாக நான் க்ரியேட் பண்ணணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். அந்த க்ரியேட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு நம்ம எல்லோரும் ஒன்று சேர்ந்து ஒர்க் பண்ணணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். அதுக்கு இந்த மாதிரியான தலித் ஃபிலிம் ஃபெஸ்டிவல்ஸ் இந்த மாதிரியான கல்ச்சுரல் ஸ்பேஸை க்ரியேட் பண்ணுறது ரொம்ப முக்கியம்னு நினைக்கிறேன். வி ஹாவ் டு ஃபைட். நம்ம வந்து எல்லாருமே சேர்ந்து நம்ம வந்து ஃபைட் பண்ண வேண்டிய தேவை இருக்குது. கல்ச்சுரல் ஸ்பேஸை எஃபெக்டிவாக மாற்றுறது மட்டும்தான் ரொம்ப முக்கியமான இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸான மூவாக இருக்கும். அது இந்த டீம் பண்ணுறதுல என்னுடைய பெரிய மகிழ்ச்சி. டெஃபினட்டாக உங்களுக்கு நான் வாழ்த்து தெரிவிச்சுக்கிறேன். நான்
So, for me, like creating a cultural space is something that's very important, and particularly the mainstream. If it is a Tamil, there is a one particular community has been portrayed as a Tamil. If it is any other like a Indian, is one particular community has been portrayed as Indian. So my life, my food, my culture, it's not expressed or portrayed in any of the mainstream. So there is a very serious need for collective action to create such kind of cultural spaces. And so even something like Dalit Film Festival like this, it's like initiating such conversations here. Like I feel and congratulate the entire team organizing such an event like this. And we all has to come together and act and fight collectively to make such cultural spaces.
Well, I've already said a lot. I think I'm just happy, honestly speaking, that we are all here. We are getting to watch films from a Dalit Bahujan Adivasi perspective on one stage. Usually that doesn't happen. And I'm really happy that all these various different voices, again, which are Dalit Bahujan Adivasi, which never come together on one panel, are sitting here together, speaking in various different dialects, speaking of different experiences, and yet united with, with this one common interest, which is of equality, liberty, fraternity, and of universal love. So I might say it, I might be aggressive sometimes, somebody might be, a little calmer, but the truth is we are all here because we want equality for all humankind, not just for the privileged, not just for a few, and that's why we are here. And we just want to, I guess, sit here today so that you can observe us, have a dialogue with us, watch our stories, watch our films, and see for yourself that we are human too, and we deserve to live a life of dignity just as much as others. That's all.
Nagaraj, there is also a request that तुमचे रसिक ही तुमची कविता देखील ऐकण्यासाठी, so they were planning if you could recite 1 or 2 verses from your poem, as many of them are here to appreciate that in your response.
शायद पता नहीं कविता का माहौल है कि नहीं है, लेकिन अच्छा हां मी ऐकवतो. पण मला यांचं निरीक्षण किंवा यांची चिंता मला बरोबर वाटली. कारण की मला वाटलं की पण ते आपलं स्वप्न आहे कदाचित, म्हणजे गोरं असणं हे अख्ख्या भारताला दाखवलेलं स्वप्न आहेत. आणि भारतात गोरं कोणीच नाही, पण सगळ्यांना गोरं व्हायचं आहे आणि सगळ्यांना सुंदर व्हायचं आहे. आणि आपण जे आहोत त्याच्यापेक्षा वेगळं काहीतरी व्हायचं हेच स्वप्न असतं अर्थात. पण रियालिटी हे आहे की आपण तसे नाहीत. हे स्वप्न आहे, हे अशी एखादं कोणीतरी असतं आणि आणि रियालिटी
Everyone in India is dark-skinned, but everybody in India wants to be white. The dream of becoming white is the thing that's prominent in India. I don't know if I want to tag on. But we have the British to blame for that. Well, I don't know about that.
British were influenced by the Brahmins. the colonial construct originated from the Brahminic system. Max Muller went in and that's how colonial regime. So the all right, you can.
हाँ और मुझे ये भी लगा कि जो उनका सवाल था वो जो जेंटलमैन जो पीछे बैठे हैं हाँ तो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा कि उनका सवाल इतना इनोसेंट है, एक बच्चे का सवाल है और जो पूरी दुनिया को आज भी हो सकता है। और वो आप सवाल हम चारों पांचों जो लोग इधर बैठे इनके लिए नहीं था, आपका सवाल शायद खुद के लिए था, इन सारे लोगों के लिए था, पूरी दुनिया के लिए था कि सही में इतना मुश्किल है क्या कि इक्वल बन जाना। तो ये आज का शायद सबसे बड़ा सवाल हो सकता है और ये सवाल के साथ घर जाना चाहिए हमने।
I really appreciate the question by the gentleman in the back. It's a very innocent question and a very profound one. It's like the question a child should ask. And it is a question for all of us, not just for the panel, which is the question of why is it so hard for us to find another person as a human being?
Thank you. Hello.
मराठीत अर्थात मी मराठीत लिहितो अभी मार्जिनल मुझे बुरा लग रहा है कि हम मतलब देखिए हम दलित भी हैं, तमिल भी हैं, मराठी भी है, हम औरतें भी हैं, हम पुरुष भी हैं, तो इतना कॉम्प्लिकेशन है।
यही दलित है।
मतलब ये बहुत ज़्यादा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है और ये समझने के लिए तो अच्छी बात है कि एक बन जाए। तो मेरी पता नहीं मेरी एक माझी मराठी कविता आहे आत्ताच्या ह्याच्यात ते बरोबर आहे का नाही काय माहित दोन विधान आहेत ट्रान्सलेट तुम्ही प्राध्यापक आहेत आपल्याकडे हां मी तुम्हाला आधी कविता सांगतो मग तुम्हाला एक ओळ वेगळी पण दिशा होईल दोन विधान आहेत कवितेचं नाव आहे अ आणि ब अ जाहिरातीसाठी द्यायला हरवलेल्या माणसाचाच नेमका घरात नसतो एकही नीटचा फोटो अ जाहिरातीसाठी द्यायला हरवलेल्या माणसाचाच नेमका घरात नसतो एकही नीटचा फोटो.
So the poem's title is A and B, आणि B. A lost person. It is hard to even find an A for a newspaper.
जाहिरातीसाठी द्यायला नेमका हरवलेल्या माणसाचाच घरात नसतो एकही नीटचा फोटो.
Sir.
Hello. For a person who is lost, we don't find a picture to put it in the newspaper for lost to just advertise that he's lost.
हाँ ये करेक्ट है.
This is how my students feel all the time.
क्या सॉरी सॉरी अच्छा हां जाहिरातीसाठी द्यायला हरवलेल्या माणसाचाच नेमका घरात नसतो एकही नीटचा फोटो ब ज्यांचा घरात एकही नीटचा फोटो नसतो अशीच माणसं नेहमी हरवतात.
Yes. So I'll say the whole thing because in parts it doesn't make sense. So people, those who are lost, it's difficult to find their picture to put it in the newspaper. And only those people get lost whose picture is never available.
That's a Heideggerian intervention. By the way.
Hello. Actually, there been several questions being raised here. What is success? What is star power in Indian cinema? Success means money. Popularity means money. The effectiveness means money. Being a Malayalam filmmaker, making films in India, for me, my films been screened around the world, several festivals. In India, my 2 of last films consecutively banned. I couldn't even show the film. And one festival selected my film, Papilio Buddha, which was then some political intervention that take off, and I arranged a screening, parallel screening, about to start, the cops come and intervene and shut down the theater. That was my experience. My last film was banned for 2 years. I've been actually in the court for a couple of years. So being a filmmaker, I'm trained as a filmmaker, but I became a litigator. And constantly, I pay like 15 lakhs spent on my lawyer fee. And I couldn't make, I can make another film. And I never get distributed. At the same time, I never consider myself a failure filmmaker or failed filmmaker. And my films are very effective. And I don't want to make a film with Rajinikanth or Amitabh Bachchan or Mammootty or Mohanlal. Because they're coming with the big baggage of production and they will intervene my production, my aesthetic convictions. So I will die as unknown in poverty, but I will keep on make my films in my terms. So that is, yeah, probably. And I'm saying that, for me, it is my success. But at the same time, I'm not bringing I want to bring this picture, other side of this so-called success. I just want to mention that the success is always measured in terms of money in India. And beauty also. India, whatever you say, it is a colorist society, it's a sexist society, it's a homophobic society. When we have to, it is male chauvinistic society, it is misogynist society. When we bring into this intersectionalities in the context of political discourse, and every art is a discourse to the people. How far it reaches doesn't matter, but it will reach. We have to address in all phases of art, in popular art, in pop art, in artistic venues, in museums and everywhere. Our expression is supposed to be multi-faced. In all aspects of art, we have to express, we have to bring the subaltern or oppressed voices. Right. Thank you.
If you have a question, what can we learn from the Dalit community? It is how to love. And it is, if you have a question, what can we do to the Dalit community? It is to love. So love is a common bondage that will bring us together, but the love of Dalits is a radical love. It's an uncompromising love. It's a love that has maintained civilization for thousands and thousands of years. Had it not been the Dalits who have lost the capacity to love, we would have had civil wars in every generation. Dalit community undergoes genocide every generation. We have horrendous violences that is taking place, but still this community manages to love. It is the community which maintains peace and still finds a capacity of human in the person who has lost his or her humanhood. There are people who have been drunken with power, trying to put down the Dalit community. It is to celebrate this. We had a Mallu, we had a Marathi, we had a Hindi, we had a Tamilian and an English professor. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a round of applause. Chota mota Harvard ka guy. Thank you. Thank you.